Alright, welcome back, Hammer fans. It's been a couple weeks off with some international travel and recovery time on our part. So here we go with a data recovery / emergency beacon recovery as we narrative up this scenario. 2,000 point battle between the Dark Angels and the Craftworld Alaitak Eldar as we get into that. So let's look at this battalion right off the bat here. We have 2 units of 5 Rangers, a unit of Guardian Defenders with a Bright Lance. Then we have the Avatar of Cain, because I haven't played with him forever, and I want to. And the Farseer here, who is taking Guide and Doom with him. Then we'll get into this Vanguard, and we have the Farseer and Skyrunner, who is also my Warlord, who will be taking Fate's Messenger, which is basically a 6+ Feel No Pain Eldar version, and a +1 to his wounds. He also has the Shroud of Al-Nasir, which is -1 to hit, on type of the -1 for over 12 inches from a Alaitak, so he's on -2 to hit. And he's carrying Fortune and Executioner with him. And then we have these Warp Spiders, these Swooping Hawks, and these Wind Riders, all with Shuriken catapults. Shuriken cannons. And then we get into this Vanguard here we have a Warlock, who will be taking Concealed Reveal with a Bone Singer. Then we have some Wraith Guard with Wraith Cannons. And we have Wraith Blade with the Ghost Axe and the Force Shield. And then we have a Fire Prism and 2 Wave Serpents. Ignore the secondary weapon up top. They are both carrying Shuriken Cannons. Forgot to change that out. So that's where we are, 2,000 points of Eldar. Alright, let's get into this Dark Angel army. Let's start off here with Azrael and his little demon. Yeah, totally loyalist. And then we have Bilal in this battalion. And then we'll get into these 2 Tactical Marines squads here, along with a unit of the Scouts, Snipers, whatever you want to call them. Then we'll get into this Vanguard he has, where we have a unit of Terminators. We have an Ancients. And then we have Dark Knights, another little demon guy there, because they're totally loyal. Along with this Librarian here. Then we'll get into the new additions to this army. We have a fancy eBay recovered and made magic Landspeeder. Looks beautiful. And then we have 2 Whirlwinds, and they're different somehow, and one's loyalist, one's not, question mark? I don't know. I love not being my army, so I can say what I want. And then we have this Nightmare of a Land Raider that when it comes to Eldar, we'll just totally shred the whole thing. So let's get ready to go for deployment here for data recovery / emergency beacon recovery. Here we go with the deployment. These 2 Whirlwinds who don't need line of sight and can shoot anywhere on the board are I'd like to say strategically placed here, but since it's not my army, I'm like, oh, why are you doing that? That's dumb. But they'll probably wipe everything off the board, along with Azrael and his little demon loyalist. And then we have the Landspeeder over here, and that's 1/3 of the Dark Angels power level. And then all we really have for 1/3 over here is we have some Rangers behind the fence over here, a Wave Serpent, and a Fire Prism. And inside that Wave Serpent, we have Wraith Guard and the Bone Singer. So let's see how we go with turn 1. End of Eldar turn 1, as we won the roll-off, a 3 against a 2. We go first. Rangers advanced, moved up into the 2nd level to stay in cover. Heavy weapons can't shoot. So then the Fire Prism moved over here. Discharged its Prism Cannon at the Land Raider 2 different times. Couple saved, couple went through, 2 total wounds come off of that. The Wave Serpent with its Star Engine and Vectored Engines came over here, also took 2 wounds off of the Landspeeder. Landspeeder is down to 2 wounds remaining, and now we'll just wait for all the shots to come through. Hopefully a bunch of minus to hit for everybody. Magical. End of Dark Angels turn 1. We were questioning this Landspeeder at first, and then it fired its missiles. Nothing happened to the Wave Serpent. Then it fired the Heavy Bolter. Nothing happened. A bunch of minusing to hit, so that really helped out. So No damage there. Then we got over to these whirlwinds. The one on the right is Castellan. The one on the left is Vengeance. Because, see, the one on the right is Castellan green. Get it? Anyway. So then we as in the Dark Angels, played the data link telemetry stratagem. And then immediately, because of Azrael right there, got that CP back, so it was free. Which basically turns into 2 D3 shots into 2 D3 hits, because that land speeder is within 12 inches. So that's why you have a land speeder, and that's why the Eldar are going to kill it as soon as they can. And that ended up doing 4 damage all played out, which was reduced by 1 on the Wave Serpent to 3. And then the Vengeance shot, and then also did a wound that cannot be reduced anymore. So overall, with all the shooting phase, that Wave Serpent is down to 9 wounds from 13. That's where we stand at the end of turn 1. Let's see if reinforcements can come in and roll for those in turn 2. Alright, end of the Eldar, turn 2. We did pretty successfully bring everybody onto this field. We missed 1, 2, 3 units coming on, so hopefully they'll come out next turn. But this Farseer came out over there. We did drop these Wraith Blades out of the Wave Serpent along with the Bone Singer, who sung 1 unit back in, or 1 wound back into the Wave Serpent, so he's back up to 10. And then the Farseer, well, let's see who else we got out here. We got Fire Prism. These Wind Riders came out. These Guardians with the Bright Lance came out. The Farseer, just standing there, he came out. And then because of the deep striking rules of all the other Farseer Skyrunner with his Shimmer Pool of blah 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 Shift Shroud. But anyway, he was able to deep strike, and these Swooping Hawks came down to get over here. Hopefully tie some stuff up, and we had some more spiders drop in over there, so we're trying to cover this board as much as we can. But between Executioner from the Farseer and then the Shuriken, the twin Shuriken catapult on that jet bike, we were able to destroy the land speeder so that we can't use any data telemetry against us again, because that's amazing, and it didn't cost them anything. Yeah, I'm a little bitter, but it was good. All right, let's see what the Dark Angels have in store for turn 2. End of the Dark Angels turn 2. Only 2 units were able to come on the board. These tactical Marines down here on the bottom right, and then these snipers up here. The Scouts came in. Scouts came in and took out 2 of the Swooping Hawks that were right there with their weapons, and then the tactical Marines, I don't know if they were able to get anybody out, but did lose 2, and then these tanks were able to take out another Swooping Hawk. Good saving rolls, saved a bunch of them. Being in cover is a thing, and subtracting 1 from the hit roll is a thing, so that is where we stand right now at the end of turn 2. Getting ready for another beacon to be dropped to see where we can hold it. Let's get ready for turn 3. End of the Eldar turn 3. We dropped some Rangers in this building over here, moved some more Spiders over there. Farseer moved a little bit. We did get to drop the last second Wave Serpent in there, so he's in there. We did some more shooting, moved some Wind Riders on this last Distress Beacon that was dropped behind those barrels for the start of turn 3. So that's where we stand for beacons and placements. The Farseer and Skyrunner Warlord, he did cast Executioner on this tactical squad and took 2 out for the first D3, and then did another D3 mortal wounds with Executioner, so 3 dead there. Then this Wave Serpent took all of its 3 Shuriken cannons at the tactical squad, took out 2 there, and then this set of Rangers shot in there too, I believe, and they took 1 more out with the mortal wound. Nothing else went through, and that is where we stand as we get ready to the bottom of turn 3 with the Dark Angels, getting ready to hopefully get some more tactical reserves for them. End of Dark Angels turn 3. most everything dropped on the board. Thank goodness. This Land Raider did quite a few damage to that Wave Serpent over there. So that's good. These Terminators dropped, and he forgot to play a stratagem to shoot twice, which then he just played it again to fight twice. So he lost 2 Terminators in the fight phase, where I lost 4 Wraith Guard and Wraith Blades. Only 1 Wraith Blade left, and he did not run away because he's here to fight. And then these 3 Swooping Hawks that were back in that corner to try to get these tied up didn't quite do it, but they all died to the bolters, not the Hunter Killer Missile, because that's not good for killing anything. But that's where we stand right now. There is still 2 units left of Dark Angels to come on the board in turn 4, and the Avatar for turn 4. So let's go into turn 4. End of the Eldar turn 4. We're going to start out here with the MVP of the game so far. As much as I love Terminators, I hate them because I love them because they're amazing and they're hard to kill. But you know what is a good way to kill them? Executioner.
Smite.
It's Smite on steroids, actually. But basically these Terminators that were down here were Execution, which means D3 mortal wounds on a 7, so it's not a cheesy 5 for Smite. So I did cast that, then rolled a 6, so killed 1.5 Terminators with that. And then Executioner does, if you kill a model, you do that again, an extra D3 mortal wounds. Rolled another 6, so another 1.5 Terminators. So 3 total Terminators dead with 1 spell. So MVP and all that stuff. And then I had to go Smite on top of that, took another wound off one of the 2 remaining. And then we got into fight phase with the 1 remaining Wraith Blade. He took the 1 wound left off of that one, and then had to withstand the fight back with 2 potential wounds and said no thank you with my 5 save on a 4+ with the Ghost Shield. So well done there. Then we had Fire Prism, who was cast Guide from the Farseer right around the corner there. Can't get him. He's right there. Cast Guide, so re-rolled all failed hit rolls. There he is right there. All failed hit rolls. He shot the dispersed cannon over here and took a total of, I believe, 5 wounds off of the Land Raider. The Land Raider, which I love and hate for the same reasons I love and hate Terminators. Indestructible, tons of firepower. Then these amazing Warp Spiders got in here, and they shot their Death Spinner over here. Good thing about them is when they roll a 6 on the wound roll, -4 AP. Rolled 5 6s on the wound roll. Yeah, 5 6s. Great. I'm gonna do some serious damage. Dave saved 3 of those with his 6 save, so that's okay. Did take another 2, so got him down to 7 wounds, which is the 2nd bracket on a Land Raider, which is very hopeful for the most destructive thing on this board, in my opinion. So that's where we stand at the end of the top of 4. Just kind of holding place. Everybody's on the board, especially this guy, the Avatar King. He's there, just hanging out, waiting to get in the battle. End of 4. Let's go to bottom 4. Dark Angels. End of the Dark Angels. Turn 4. All the firepower finally came out, and all the firepower went into this Wave Serpent over here, who is sitting on 2 of the beacons. So that's a very important point in the game right now. They did quite a bit of damage. Good rolling on the save. So luckily he still has 4 wounds left. But that Land Raider is wobbly. This Wave Serpent is wobbly. These guys came out. They're good. But everybody luckily failed the charge. I say luckily for the Eldar. Rolled a 3 on the charge roll for the Land Raider and a 4 on the charge roll for the Space Marine. So nothing came out. And then this little battle we're having in here, right up in there with a Terminator and a Wraith Blade. The Terminator took a wound off of the Wraith Blade, and the Wraith Blade could not counter with a wound. So right now, 2 wounds to 2 wounds left in that fight. And this is kind of how the board shapes up right now. Going into turn 5. And if anything holds true, this will be the last round, because we roll to see if we go to turn 6, but we never do. So that means we will? Question mark? End of Eldar, turn 5. Got some reinforcements in here with quite an 8-inch advance charge on the second Wave Serpent on the right. So he got in there to help secure this double objective slash distress beacon slash whatever you want to call it point. But yeah, so we added 3 wounds from the Bone Singer to this Wave Serpent to get him up to the second bracket, so he's still alive and hanging in there. Hard to die, so that's good. And then the Farseer, again, execution, got 5 total Space Marines off the board, tactical squad. Forgot to do morale, but we'll do that here in a second. Big news. Fire Prism, who was guided by the Farseer, totally did 7 total wounds to this Land Raider over here, who only had 6 left, so he died. He did explode, but command point reroll to not explode, to not kill. But then one of the Dark Wing Knights did die trying to get out of there because he ran into all the equipment and just couldn't stand the explosion. But everybody else is still there. That's how we stand. We got, let's see, we got 1 objective command distress point beacon over here, 1 beacon here, and then 2 hanging out right here. So we're in good shape right now, but we are getting into Dark Eldar. Dark Angels turn 5. See what he can do to drive people off the objectives. End of Dark Angels, turn 5. Quite the eventful little corner we have over here. So first of all, as we get into the psychic phase, the librarian rolls boxcars on the first psychic attempt. He does, however, add re-rolling everything hit and wound to this Dark Wing Knight squad. So that's great, but he does suffer 3 mortal wounds to himself. Okay, not a big deal. Then, however, he attempts another psychic power of smiting to the Wave Serpent. Good, bad. Get that serpent out of there if you can. I agree. However, he rolled boxcars again. But then he decided to use a command point to reroll one of those 6s because we can't afford to die and blow up stuff around me. Guess what that command point 6 turned into? Yep, it's another 6. 5 straight 6s. So he blew up, and then he took out a couple, maybe 2 tactical marines, maybe 3, don't remember. He took out 1.5 of these Darkwing Knights, 3 total wounds there, so 1.5 died there. Then he took out 2 wounds, I think on, I don't remember, a bunch of wounds, whatever. He killed a bunch of stuff, took wounds off the Wave Serpent, that's great. Then everybody started shooting at this Wave Serpent, and blow, ended up killing the Wave Serpent. And you know what the Wave Serpent did? It exploded. So you know what it did? It took out even more tactical marines, even more Darkwing Knights, even more wounds on the Ancient. So this was magical. Then they all made their charge, minus the Ancients. They got in, and because of the Serpent Shield and all of that stuff, was able to stay alive the second one, down to 1 wound, but he is still alive sitting on that marker, that distress beacon, along with the Bone Singer, who's down to 1 because he took 3 mortal wounds when the Wave Serpent exploded. So this is kind of magical explosion and mortal wounding and perils of the warp. The Monkey just don't understand the powers of the warp. So that's kind of where we stand after 5, and we're getting ready to roll off. We got two distress beacons over here controlled by the Eldar, and then we have 2 double stack contested over here by the Eldar and the Dark Angels. So this is magical. Let's see if we go to round 6 or if it ends right here.
Nicely done.
As expected, with a random battle length, we are a complete 100% of not continuing the game, as all it took was a roll of a 3 to go to round 6, and a 2 was rolled. No command points could be used, unfortunately. So this is where we end at the end of turn 5. The Eldar, Craftworld Alitok, sitting on 2 of the canisters / distress beacons, right here for the Rangers and right here for the Wind Riders. And the other 2 beacons / canisters / distress signals came down in this heap of madness and destruction right here. So that one is null and void. Nobody collects it. The Eldar somehow collect a major victory for these 2 that were uncontested by the Dark Angels. What an amazing game of mind-blowing, literally, Curse of the Warp, and destruction, literally, 3 things, vehicles exploded. Fun game. 2-0 to the Eldar, but overall, fun was had. That's all that matters.